Just Coolin'. Hi, I'm Tony Bellamy, and welcome to Just Coolin', where hip-hop meets bebop, and bebop meets hip-hop, and where we have the many flavors of jazz. On every program, we pay tribute to past jazz greats, innovators of change outside of the box. Today's program is no different. We pay tribute to this multi-talented musician, arranger, composer, and record producer who wore many hats. He is Quincy Delight Jones, born March 14, 1933, to Sarah and Quincy Sr. His father was a carpenter and his mother a bank executive who later suffered from dementia. And it was because of that Quincy moved with his father to Bremerton, Washington. It was during this time that Quincy introduced himself to music. He began playing the piano, the French horn, and the tuba, and finally settled on the trumpet. Quincy's family moved again to Seattle, Washington, and shortly after arrival, Quincy went to a club to check out a 16-year-old blind singer. Quincy was just 14 and was blown away by Ray Charles' singing and music. The two struck a friendship that would last a lifetime, along with many music collaborations. Quincy was inspired by Ray Charles and decided at age 15 he was going to be a professional musician. He joined Lionel Hampton's band, but was rebuffed by Hampton's wife for being too young. Quincy was hurt and discouraged, but decided to focus on his music and his education and graduated from Garfield High School in Seattle, Washington. After graduating, he received a music scholarship in 1950 from the Skillinger House in Boston, later known as the Berklee School of Music. During that same year, he leaves the school after receiving a second invitation to join Lionel Hampton's band. I mean, what better place to get a music education than with Professor Hampton? After several world tours in the 50s, Quincy records an albums for Lionel Hampton, King Pleasure, and Big Mabel, and records a song, A Whole Lot of Shaking Going On, which is later covered by Jerry Lee Lewis, a huge rock and roll hit. It always begins with us. In 1956, Quincy Jones joins Dizzy Gillespie Band as an arranger and trumpeter on a state world tour. The following year, in 1957, he joins Barclay Records in France as an arranger and studies music composition under renowned teacher Nadia Boulanger. In 1960, Quincy Jones, at age 27, forms his own band for a 10-month European tour that is a financial failure, and Jones contemplates suicide. Quincy returns to the USA under duress and joins Mercury Records. In 1961, discovers a young singer by the name of Leslie Gore and writes a hit, It's My Party, and a string of pop hits follows. Quincy received many criticisms from the jazz community. Quincy ignored the jazz critics and produced albums for Ella Fitzgerald, Peggy Lee, and Sarah Vaughan, plus Frank Sinatra. It's during this time that he wrote Soul Bossa Nova, later featured in the Austin Powers movie, Goldmember. Quincy always thought outside of the box and wanted to do film scores and got his first break in 1964 with Sidney Lumet's The Pawnbroker. This began a new chapter in Quincy Jones' storied life, a 33 film score career in the mid-60s for such movies as In Cold Blood, In the Heat of the Night, The Italian Job, just to name a few. In the late 60s and early 70s, Jones continued to produce solo albums such as Walking in Space, Gula Matari, and Smackwater Jack. But in 1974, Jones suffers 2 brain aneurysms and survives, and weds actress Peggy Lipton, one of several marriages. In 1978, Jones continues to score, and he does the movie The Wiz and meets Michael Jackson on the set. Quincy Jones produces Off the Wall, which sells over 20 million records, then followed by Thriller, 104 million records sold, the top-selling album of all time. In 1985, Jones continues to blaze, where he now produces the album or song called We Are the World, a song dedicated to the Ethiopian famine that produces such singers as Bruce Springsteen, Michael Jackson, Tina Turner, and Harry Belafonte. Quincy continued to think out of the box and beyond music, and is the founder of Vibe magazine and Spin Music magazines for today's youth. Wow. In his 50-year career, Quincy Jones has received several humanitarian and lifetime awards from France, the White House, Princeton University, and BET, an endless list. Quincy today continues to range and produce outside, but based on the jazz box. Let's stay tuned to Just Coolin and Q's Vision on WJAZ. And I'm Tony Bellamy. Just Coolin. WJAZ, well, Just Coolin. Another great show has ended and a new beginning has begun. Can you say Obama? That's right, Obama is in and Just Coolin is out. Hope you enjoyed this great show you saw here today. I'd like to thank the great Kenny Graham once again for holding up signs, and of course the chief chef himself, Lamont Pinckney. Hope you enjoyed it. And like I said before, what's mine is going to come to me, and if I don't cop, it's just not mine to have. Here in WJAZ, Just Coolin, where hip-hop meets bebop and bebop meets hip-hop. See you. Those of you who like to see more of Just Coolin, broadband or podcast, where hip-hop meets bebop and bebop meets hip-hop, go to justcoolin.com. That's justcoolin.com. Peace out.